Michael Vaughn and friends, it's your boy, the Tolkien Toker. I've been quiet as of late. Tragedy has struck my family. Last week, my father passed away suddenly. And when I grieve, it's easier for me to cope with that grief through poetry, through literature, through songwriting, things that I love. And I often do it in silence. I often do it in private. And my father was instrumental in my Tolkien experience. You know, he was the one who first introduced me to the animated films, and then he took my brother and I to the premieres of the trilogy, and it's always been, I felt like a cornerstone of our bond and our relationship. And as I'm talking, the wind chime my cousin got me for my dad is just blowing in the wind, and it's making all the noise, so it's not making this any easier. But I wanted to share my grief, because I think when you harbor all that grief and all that pain on yourself, it's difficult. So I believe, as people who crave connection, it's better to cope with that grief by sharing that grief. So I just wanted to read a passage from The Lord of the Rings, the appendices of Arwen and Aragorn, that speaks to me. So this is Aragorn on his deathbed, saying farewell to Arwen. I speak no comfort to you, for there is no comfort for such pain within the circles of the world. The uttermost choice is before you, to repent and go to the havens and bear away into the west the memory of our days together, and that shall there be evergreen, but never more than memory, or else to abide by the doom of men. But let us not be overthrown at the final test, who of old renounced the shadow and the ring. In sorrow we must go, but not in despair. Behold, we are not bound forever to the circles of the world, and beyond them is more than memory. Farewell. So Arwen tells Aragorn that the gift of man, which is to die and not be bound by the circles of the world, there is something out there that elves will never comprehend, only men can experience with the one, Eru Iluvatar, the gift of man, which is death. And she explains how the gift is bitter to receive. And I think it's even more bitter for those of us that endure, that survive after we are released from the bounds of this world. And though I cannot go into the West and live in my memory as if it were evergreen forever, for the time that I am here, I will cherish the memory that my dad gave. And I think continuing this Tolkien journey of mine is a way to honor him, because it's easy to fall into despair and shadow, especially in times of grief and sorrow. But there is beauty in the sorrow, there is memory in the sorrow, and Tolkien has always taught me that. And there is a lot of support from the community, so I appreciate it from everyone who has reached out to me. It's just been quite a journey, and I almost gave up. I almost said, you know what, fuck it. But I want to keep doing it. So I just wanted to share that with you. And trust me when I say this has eased my burden ever so slightly, but every bit counts. And one day at a time, things get easier. Thank you guys for listening.